Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning. Hello there, family. It's me, TJ. It's another Side of Midnight. It's 7 minutes past the hour. Freezing cold. I got the cracked knuckles. I got the dry skin. I'm all ashy. I'm just absolutely just frozen here in Midtown Manhattan. Good morning. And, and it's cold and it's February and it's just dragging and the Winter Olympics have started. And the Winter Olympics just totally snuck up. It's been so busy news-wise. And I just have not been paying attention. And like, I knew it was coming and they were talking about it. We knew about the, the one big mention in the last couple of days was when they said that Savannah Guthrie wasn't going to be over there covering, of course. And that kind of had me just in the last 24 hours kind of paying attention a little bit. One eye on her mom being missing, which again, like just, oh my God, awful. And my other eye over there kind of on, on the Olympic opening ceremonies, which I don't really, the Winter Olympics, I don't really, do they float your boat? Do they get you? I don't know. And the Super Bowl, I think the fact that it, sort of coincides with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is arguably in terms of one shot, it's a bigger deal than the Olympics, I think, selfishly speaking, although this year's Super Bowl, Pats and Seahawks, I loathe the Patriots. I don't care about the Seahawks. So I guess when you loathe one team, when you hate one team, I guess you go for the one that you don't really quite care about. And you got that Sam Darnold comeback story and played for the Jets and was kind of nowhere with the Vikings last year. So, okay, all right, I'll pull for the Seahawks. But here's my intrigue with the Olympics right now. Just like with the celebrities at the Grammys, some of these dopey Olympic athletes, some of these dopey American athletes just can't help themselves. They just cannot resist the urge to criticize, however reading between the lines they're doing it, however much they're doing it by being too cute by half, by implying or outright criticizing. They just can't help themselves. You come all this way, especially with winter sports, right? Winter sports, skiing, ice skating, hockey. It's in America, you don't grow up in the Alps. You don't grow up in the mountain. You don't grow up in the frozen tundra. A lot of these sports the facilities are at a premium. You're an ice skater, you're a skier, you're spending tons of dough. Your mom and dad are spending tons of dough and getting up at the ass crack of dawn to get to the ski slope, to the indoor this, to the ice rink, that, to the thing, and all the money on the pads and the skates and the lessons and the rinks and the travel. And after all that, after a lifetime, you finally get to Milan Cortina, wherever the hell they are, and you get to your big press conference. And in a lot of instances, you're making your American debut. Americans don't follow these sports except for the Olympics, generally speaking. This ain't baseball. This isn't even soccer, right? Okay. I think more people follow English soccer than they do snowboarding. The pentathlon, what's that? Is the pentathlon? What's the one where they ski, cross country ski, and they drop and they shoot and they get back up on their skis and they ski and whatever. People don't follow that in America. Follow hoops and we follow flipping microphone. Stay up, microphone. Oh, this is so annoying, this microphone. Okay, there it goes. And so in many ways, these Olympic athletes are introducing themselves to Americans. They're introducing themselves, globally, but they're introducing themselves to Americans. Now, these comments that have been flying around, I don't know if you've been following, but there have been, just like these dopey artists, just like the dopey Billie Eilish and the dopey Baboni, and these others, and the ones at the, what was it, the Emmys? What was it? Ruffalo and the others. The Golden Globes. Just can't help themselves but criticize America. And, and down, just take shots at their home country while they're competing for their home country. Now, I get that they think there's some honor in it, but you know what? There's not. Not when you're sitting there in an official press conference. You want to go on your own personal Twitter and do something? That's like the next step down. Go on your own Twitter. Go on your own Insta. Do a live feed on your own. But don't sit there in a USA Olympic, in a Team USA Olympic press conference and slag off really anything in the United States. You know what you do? When they ask you, well, how does it feel to be representing the United States? I'm just going to play it like this. If it works, it works. Do you have that clip I sing? Oh, you had that? You know what? Listen to this. This kid, I forgot if I sent it or not, so I'm glad I did. Thank you, buddy. Oh, wait, hold on a second. No. Okay, no. Okay, no, Billy's going to play it for me. This kid, this dope is, his name is, I got to find this kid's name. Stop it. I got this kid. Play it. No. Okay, wait, what's this kid's name? I got to find his name, and it's driving me nuts because I got to bring the volume down. I'm sorry. I am the least professional radio presenter in the world. Oh, his name is Hess. Hunter Hess. Here's this kid, Hunter Hess. He's a U.S. snowboarder, I believe. Go ahead, Billy. Thank you.
Brings up mixed emotions to represent the U.S. right now, I think. It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S. So yeah, I just kind of want to do it for my friends and my family and the people that support me getting here.
Yeah, so I'm just a big giant ass is what I am. With your perfect cute little face and your moppy hair. If I look like this kid with my personality, my dance card would have been so filled. This kid is as good looking and all American as it gets. But he's a giant ass. When you're asked about what it feels like to represent your country in the Olympics, you say it's an honor. You say it's an honor. And you say, I'm feeling big snowshoes. I'm feeling big skis here. What an honor. Oh my gosh. I just want to be a role model for all the kids. And you leave out the self-importance, and you leave out, how about a little bit of humility, a little humble, little bit of humility? How about a little bit of gratitude? How does it feel to be representing your nation? My gosh, do you know what? First of all, let me thank my mom and dad. I want to thank all the sponsors. I'm sitting here wearing a $1,500 Ralph Lauren puffer jacket that no illegal immigrant crossing the border could ever even think of affording right now. I'm wearing a puffer jacket that is more than 3 times the combined income of a fruit picker. So, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to my mom and my dad. I'm grateful to God for giving me this perfect floppy hair and these gorgeous cheekbones and the incredible skills that I want to thank God. I want to, how about take a page from the Indiana quarterback? I just want to give all glory to God. I just want to thank my teammates. We did this together. It's not about me. There's no I in team. Be a cliche. Say there's no I in team. Say there's no I in USA. How's that? Say that. There's no I in Team USA. But there's a you, and I want to thank you for supporting Team USA. How's that? Instead of sitting there and being a smug punk. 1-800-848-9222. How about that? How about you say thank you to Team USA? You say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you to all my teammates. Thank you to my family. Thank you to my friends for supporting me coming up. My mom and dad who drove me to the slopes every day when I was 8 years old. Thank you to my grandma for my first snowboard. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to go out there and do my very best. That's what I'm going to do. That's what it feels like. What does it feel like to represent the United States? It feels like boy, I tell you, spotlight's on me. I really hope. I have trained all my life and I am here to hopefully bring home the gold for my country. And then go on your own personal Twitter. Go on your own personal feed, take away all the logos, take away all the Team USA stuff, and then vent if you have to. Even if maybe you wait until, I don't know, after the Olympics. Because I tell you what there, Hunter Hess, with your perfect alliteration name, you have got the entire world by the pinky toe. Not only did God give this kid perfect cheekbones, gorgeous hair, amazing athletic ability, gorgeous eyes, an amazing gift for athletics, a charming countenance, he blessed this kid with an alliteration name, Hunter Hess. Can you just, is there more of a grand slam in life? Take a look in a mirror. Take a look at the gifts that you have. And then just, fold in a little bit of humility. Be grateful and get the hell off the stage and go board down a mountain. Just stop with this lack of gratitude and this self-importance. Man, take a page out of Michael Jordan's book. Leave it all out on the court and do it for your team. Go tough it out. Thank your mom and dad and God and your country and shut the hell up. Who do you think you are? Understand. By the way, understand. Here's the part B. It's honorable to have an opinion. This is not about free speech. This isn't about free speech. This is, when will these people get it through their thick skulls? The artists and the athletes and the thing. Time and place. Just time and place. And, and by the way, we'll hit the bad bunny. I got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to hit on this big bunny thing because, it's sort of crystallized. Again, sometimes it takes a while for the penny to drop and my machinery to start moving. But the bad bunny thing, it finally sunk in. People are making fun of, the Turning Point USA alternative halftime show, and the people have been taking shots at it, and rightfully so. I think we could have gotten a little bit more star power to join Kid Rock. But at the same time, the Bad Bunny thing, there is so much we'll hit it when we come back. You know what? 1-800-848-9222. Am I wrong? You know what? Am I wrong? Or am I right? I don't know. This just really, once I saw this smug kid, and there's another one too, Michaela Schifrin. When we come back, I'll play her clip too. There's a bunch of spoiled brats representing the United States this year. 1-800-848-9222. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, your calls, more of my glowing opinions, all me. Yes, there's me in this. Let me see. Another Side of Midnight. Yeah, there's a me in there somewhere. All right, we'll be right back here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Stay right there.
all night long. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning there, gang. It's me. That's Bad Bunny singing the TJ McCormack theme song. Thank you, Bad Bunny. Grateful. Benito and I go way back, all the way to Puerto Rico. It's 26 minutes past, and it's 7 degrees in Manhattan. It's single digits, and that's not with the wind. With the wind, I mean, it's enough to freeze off Bad Bunny's ears. It's bad out there. It's bad out there in Midtown Manhattan. Bad. It's bad. It's Bad Bunny. Good morning there, gang. And by the way, I want to just make sure I clarify here. It's about the self-importance. It's about the question is, how does it feel to represent your country? And it's about, I'm not saying the kids aren't honorable. It's that thing that comes up a lot these days. Two things can be true at the same time. These kids can have honorable opinions, all right? Right, wrong. I'm not, and this is not about free speech. This is about like the moment. This is about the platform. Now, I think three things can be right at the same time. And I don't even know if I'm actually nailing three things here at the same time, but a few things can be correct at the same time, including this. It's not lost on me. It's not lost on me that while I'm saying these dopey, spoiled brats with their perfect alliteration names and their gorgeous hair and their perfect facial structure, combined with their unbelievable world-class athletic ability, clearly I'm jealous of all of these things. It's not lost on me that while I'm criticizing this kid, and I'll play you the other one in a minute. I'll play it for you right now. Here you go. I got it right here. We'll just pop it into the microphone here. So this is Michaela Schifrin. She's an Olympic athlete. She was asked, I believe she's also a skier. She was asked about what's it like to represent the United States. This is what she said.
I think there's a lot of hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence. It can be. Again,
the question is, how does it feel to represent your country in the Olympics? That's what the question was.
Tough to reconcile that when you're also competing for medals in an Olympic event. I actually have some thoughts. I can read something that I had written if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
So last night at the opening ceremonies, Charlize Theron, she had quoted Nelson Mandela.
So we're going to the top of the mountain now. No pun intended. We're talking about now. We're gonna let Charlize Theron be our guide.
And I don't have the quote off the top of my mind because I'm not brilliant. Peace is not just the.
I'll let that just sit there for a minute. And I like that she described herself as not brilliant. Okay, good.
Absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where we can all flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And for me, as this relates to the Olympics, I'm really hoping to show up and represent my own values of inclusivity, values of diversity and kindness and sharing.
How about you show up and display your values of going fast down the mountain on the snow on your skis? How about that? How about that? How about that? How about that? What I'm really hoping to do is win medals. What I'm really hoping to do is go faster than everybody else because I'm an athlete and these are the Olympics. And this is an official press conference for the athletics. And so what I'm hoping to bring to this is fast.
Tenacity, work ethic, showing up with my team every
Okay. Now getting warmer.
single day, like I said before, the values that we bring and put out on the mountain and on the hill every single day. I'm hoping to represent those who have been supporting me this entire time.
Okay. All right. Warmer. Getting better.
And I'm really thankful to be here. And my greatest hope for this Olympic Games, from a broader perspective, is that it is a beautiful show of cooperation and of competition.
She fouled off that last one. She swung and missed, and then she hit a nice single, and she actually roped a double off the wall with her in between comments, and then she just fouled off off the end of the bat, the last comment. That was just, tragic. That was just stupid. But as I started to say, several things can be accurate at the same time. So while criticizing these dopey kids for totally fumbling time and place, it is not lost on me. And I'm going to just own my own intellect I'm going to make up my own rules here and say that I am absolutely mindful of Mexico City, 1968, when Tommy Smith and John Carlos, the two black athletes, raised their black gloved fists during the national anthem while they were on the podium. They had won gold and bronze in the 200 meters. And they did that it ended up being the title of a book, Silent Gesture. They said that it wasn't so much the Black Power salute, but rather a human rights salute. Now, that is universally considered to be a political statement. And I think I'm going to be totally selfish. I'm going to make up my own damn rules because my own damn mouth and my own damn show. My opinion, that was a different situation. That was 1968. That was the height, the tippity top, the height of the civil rights struggle. America was literally, this was about a struggle for an entire race of people and equality, not equity, equality, and yes, as I'm saying it, I know, but what we're talking about here are two different things. This whole thing about ICE, is not about immigrants. It's about illegal immigrants. It's about undocumented immigrants. The civil rights struggle in America was about turning around the 747, right? The amount of time it takes to turn a 747. It's about turning the tide from America's original sin and trying to point the boat in the right direction. And what those guys did was sophisticated. It was silent. It was honorable. It was powerful. It was gut-wrenching. It put a lump in your throat. And it was two black men in the struggle. Their families in the struggle. Two black men in 1968, that much closer generationally to Jim Crow and slavery and separate but equal and everything else. That much closer generationally to Juneteenth and the Emancipation Proclamation, the Civil War. I mean, there were hundreds of Civil War veterans who had only just passed in recent years to these guys being alive. The echoes of the Civil War, World War I, again, slavery, Jim Crow, all alive and well in America and fresh and recent in America in 1968. So there is no as far as I'm concerned. Tell me if I'm wrong. That's what the phone number's for. 1-800-848-9222. The phone number is for you to tell me if you think I'm wrong. Correct my facts, correct my math. I don't know. But my opinion is that's different. And I want to make sure that I point it out because I could just see it. Here I am criticizing these kids getting political. And you guys could be, and it could be because I was thinking it earlier late last night on the way in. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to tee off on these spoiled brats. But while I'm thinking about my words and thinking about the opening of the program this morning, I was thinking about the raised fist. And I was thinking, am I being a hypocrite? Am I being intellectually dishonest? Am I being dopey? Am I being, am I turning a blind eye? Whatever. And no, I think it's different. How's it different? It's different. Again, the struggle was real. The struggle was ongoing. The struggle was in the moment in 1968. And these were two black athletes. So, yes, totally different. 1-800-848-9222. I just think these kids, time and place, man, time and place. How does it feel to represent your country? Wow. Now again, eventually that Schifrin kid, the girl, she got there. Eventually. After mucking up the entire thing with her stupid self-righteousness. Quoting Charlize Theron, quoting, I believe, Nelson Mandela. If that quote rang the bell that I think it did, I believe she was quoting Mandela. 1-800-848-9222. Let's see. I'm going to go to Martin in upstate New York. Martin, you called last night, and I'm sorry I didn't get to you before you had to go.
Hey, no problem there, TJ. That's all right. I'm calling tonight.
Yes. Hello. Good morning.
Hello there.
Hello.
So, I understand exactly what you're saying about the difference between 1968 and now.
Yeah.
There was real problems in 1968. The result of 40 or 50 years of Marxists educating these kids of today, the kids today now hate this country. Mm-hmm. They can't wait to get up there in front of the camera and say disparaging things about our country and capitalism and everything and how bad it is here. And they just don't know. They're ignorant. They've been educated by Marxist teachers and professors, and they're ignorant. That's all they are. And that's why you get Billy Eyelash gets up there and says some stupid thing about, we're living on stolen land, and then the tribe offers her or wants to move into her $3 million mansion where she lives.
Yeah. Stolen land. So she's sitting in a $3-4 million mansion on stolen land, which makes her $3-4 million, by her logic, her $3-4 million mansion is illegitimate. It's not hers.
Yeah, give it back to the people that she stole it from then. Come on.
Right.
That's your logic.
Yeah.
That's what you said on national television.
Mm-hmm.
You dopey.
Yeah, I know, dopey. I know that's
hey,
become
the history of the unity, the history of the world is people conquering other people and taking the land. That's the history of it. That's the way it is.
And you know what, Martin? Here's the other thing too about these dopey kids in Milan. If I'm again, their answer that those self-righteous, self-important, off the mark answers were answers to the question, how does it feel to be representing the United States? Oh my God, you're here at the Olympics. So now if I'm even if I'm a sports journalist, if I'm a journalist at all, and I'm the one asking that very simple question, and this kid is giving me that answer, any journalist, what's totally missing in journalism these days, generally speaking, is the follow-up. There's rarely do they follow up or do they hold anybody accountable for their dopey opinions or statements.
Because the journalists are Marxists as well.
Exactly. Because any journalist worth their weight would have said, well, I wasn't asking you about that, but while we're at it, the people that are being, arrested, the people that ICE are going after, a lot of this is all about just people who broke the law.
This is the reason why Mandummy gets elected in New York City, because the people voting are just as dumb as he is. He doesn't know a damn thing. He never had a job in his life.
I know. We got spoiled brats on the Olympics. We got spoiled brats running New York City. Oh my God, Martin. Thank you, Pally. Thank you for calling in again, buddy. It was good to talk to you this morning. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. It's just mystifying to me how these spoiled brats don't get. And again, I'm free speech guy. I am very free speech guy. I'm time and place guy. Okay? Time and place. There's parameters. There's bumpers. There's not rules, but there's, there's rules. I guess there's rules. And Bad Bunny, hey, free speech. Hey, whatever. Okay. There is such a corporate responsibility. I mean, it does not get any more corporate than the Super Bowl. I know I'm not informing any of you. I know. Don't think that I think I'm dropping a bomb on you. Hey, everybody, you know what I learned? Super Bowl is pretty darn commercial. Clearly, it's the most corporate commercial. Okay. Could you imagine how bad, when you are the sole proprietor of the halftime show stage, the corporate responsibility bestowed on you, the responsibility you have to the NFL, the Super Bowl, all those sponsors, all those halftime show sponsors, all the pre-games, all the sponsors, especially the ones buying serious ad time. The billions being spent collectively on that Super Bowl and on that 15 or 20 minutes for the halftime show. The responsibility that Baboni has. And when he stands there and starts slagging off fully half of the Super Bowl audience. And by the way, you know what? It's probably more than half. Probably well damn more than half. Would you think? I'm wondering how many blue-haired, freaky, nose ring, tattooed, teardrop facial tattoo. How many cuck husbands, how many cuckolded husbands and blue-haired ugly wives letting themselves go in the prime of their lives just to make a statement? How many of those people are bellying up to watch the Super Bowl? I gotta think that there's a hell of a lot more big time patriotic conservative men and women watching the Super Bowl than lily-livered, yellow-bellied, blue-haired, but there's a lot of colors involved, like a rainbow. There's a hell of a lot more, real men and real women watching the Super Bowl that might be offended by Baboni and his statements basically saying, I don't want you to watch me. Can you imagine being a representative of one of those $1 billion advertisers, sponsors of the Super Bowl, let alone specifically the halftime show, and then hearing the star of the halftime show basically say, don't watch? Oh my God! That is nuclear. That is nuclear. But because he's Baboni, he slides. Can you imagine what those office suites must have looked and sounded like? And those suits, how those suits must have reacted when their guy Baboni basically said to all the real men and women who watch the Super Bowl, don't watch. I think, people are kind of getting cute and saying, well, that's that the alternative halftime show, the Turning Point, is that's not quite, I don't know how many people. I think people are underestimating just how many real men and women watch the Super Bowl and are gonna be tuning out just for the sake of tuning out. They may not go over and go through the due diligence to go and find the Turning Point alternative halftime show. I'm not saying they're going to do killer Super Bowl numbers, but there's going to be a lot of people turning down the volume and going to the 6-foot wedge. There's going to be tons of real men and women around this country that are going to say, you know what, let's go into the kitchen. And they're not even going to watch. It's going to be a lot of sponsors without eyeballs because of what Baboni said. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. It's another side of midnight with me, TJ McCormack, and we shall be right back. Don't go nowhere.
All night long, this is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
51 minutes past, and I'm grateful as always for everybody calling in. And let's see, Dr. Anthony, line 4. Good morning, Dr. Anthony. I'm waving to you in Long Island City. Hello there across the East River.
My man, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Excelente, and Melissa sends her regards.
Ah, lovely Melissa. Hello, good morning, love.
I like when you get fired up. I got to tell you the truth.
Thank you.
Yeah, when you get fired up, you make more sense than when you're calm.
Thank you. I think it's because it brings out my authenticity.
I guess so.
I guess I'm.
No, you're absolutely right. Either case,
yes,
we have to look in the mirror. We have to blame ourselves. Mm. We brought this upon ourselves, the condition that we're living in. Mm. We educate our children in New York City, and if you want to call it education, we don't get the bang for our buck. Mm. We spend almost $42,000 per child to educate a child in the public school system. Mm-hmm. Do we really believe that children are functioning the way they should be functioning? Mm. I don't. Reading scores are down. Math scores are down. STEM areas are way, way down. We're not competitive. No. We can't compete against New Yorkers from upstate, let alone from children throughout the United States and children throughout the world.
Right.
Even worse. How do you start the day? Some of my colleagues, principals in the school system, they don't even have the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance to start the day.
Right.
No saluting to the flag. Nothing.
No.
So how do you expect children to grow up loving their country, respecting their politicians? How does that happen? They're not getting it from the home because most of our homes are fragmented.
Yeah. Is it the school? First of all, it's clearly, it's also its teachers. You know that just like, at the local level, when people want to infiltrate the young minds, they know that they're going to have a lot more impact running for school board, for example, than for like the local town board. Similarly, one would imagine that people who really want to infiltrate and indoctrinate become teachers. They go into education because they know they're going to have 30, 35 kids behind closed doors all to themselves to indoctrinate and brainwash. I mean, I really think that's part of the calling to education these days. It must be, because a preponderance of teachers are leftists.
A preponderance of our educators are leftists.
Yeah.
But I blame the administrators. I blame the principals. I blame the assistant principals. I blame the people that are in charge of running a building, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
In my building, I go into all the classrooms. I sit for 5 minutes. I want to hear the dialogue. I want to read lesson plans. I want to hear children as they discuss what they learned in their history class, their math class, their science classes. I want to hear this. I'm in the cafeteria. I hear the chit-chat going on among the students in the auditorium. What's going on? Yeah. Do principals, assistant principals really know the culture of their building? I don't think so.
Dr. Anthony, do you get pushback from like, do you find yourself with this new generation of educators, when you show up and you decide to sit in, whereas maybe other, principals, wouldn't? Do you, or administrators may not have that kind of hands-on? Do you get pushback or resentment from, new teachers or long-term? Is there anything like that? Any resentment?
TJ, let me tell you, and this is what the public doesn't understand. The principal of a building, and my building, for example, is 1,250 students. The middle school. Wow. Middle school, 11 to 14 years old.
Yeah.
So the hormones are popping, and there's always action going on in our building. It's a 5-floor building. 112 teachers I have with all the different staffs and so on and so forth. But the point here is, the principal's in charge of their building. No one comes into their building, not even the chancellor, not even the mayor, unless the principal says, you have the right to come into my building. So when you abdicate your responsibility because you're afraid of the UFT, shame on you. Shame on you. Because the UFT wants to run the building. The unions want to run your public school building and your charter schools, because charter schools are public schools.
Right.
Per se.
Sure.
Just that a principal in charter school has a little bit more power than they have in the public schools, because the teachers sign a special waiver for some of their rights.
That is interesting. That is something that regular, everyday folks wouldn't know. Wow. Okay.
But sometimes I have PTA meetings, and I'm going to put the onus back on the parents. I have PTA meetings at 1,200 and some odd students. There might be in the auditorium 37 parents, 40 parents. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And those are evening meetings?
Usually evening meetings. Yeah. We do have afternoon meetings to accommodate those people that don't want to go out or that work in the evening. Yeah.
Right. Great. That's great. Yeah, you tell you what, that's brilliant, because not every school or school district does that. You know, sometimes they'll do it purposefully. They'll hold solely 10 a.m. meetings, clearly to keep out the hardworking parents. Dr. Anthony, what Elvis song do you guys want when we come back in the top of the hour?
Oh my God, Burning Love.
Burning Love. All right, you're on. Good night, Melissa. Thank you, Doc. All right, gang. Coming up on the top of hour 2. And we'll keep this conversation going, and I'll also Tell you what ticked me off about Mamdani this week in particular with Mamdani and his big mouth, and something that he totally, completely skipped. He basically gave the finger to a major New York City institution. And we'll talk about that, and we'll talk to Evelyn and Pete when we come back in the next hour. This is Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack, and you at 1-800-848-9222. We shall be right back. Good morning.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
right there, gang. It's Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormack. Thank you, William. And thank you, Anthony there. My boys, Tony and Bill, my fellas, my guys, my dudes, my pals, my compatriots, my amigos, my cohorts, my comrades, my dudes, my loves, my absolute guiding stars, the lights of my eyes. Tony and Bill. And all of you guys, thank you so much for being there. Thank you, family, for being there. Thank you for everyone over there on Twitter. You can go to @TJ McCormack on X. And over there, you will find members of the family who love to hang out. I like to think of it over there. They're over in the kitchen. Like a big family gathering here every weekend, Saturday and Sunday mornings. And they're out there, over there in the kitchen. They don't like to watch TV or sit in the living room. They like to be out there in the kitchen and, They sit around that table. That's how I look at the bunch over there on X. 1-800-848-9222. So we're talking this morning about some of these spoiled brats over in Italy, over in Milan. These members of the United States, Winter Olympics team, who, when asked about, about representing the United States, how does it feel to be representing, to be on Team USA representing your country? And they got all self-righteous and self-important and started getting political and, talking about, being embarrassed, in some cases talking about being embarrassed and, just time and place, I think is pretty much what I was saying. Again, here's Olympic athlete, Michaela Schifrin, I believe is a skier.
Hardship in the world, globally. And there's a lot of heartbreak. There's a lot of violence.
Stop! Anyway, so there's that. So we're talking about that, and we're talking about, the fact that, well, actually we haven't started. I wanted to hit this. This is what annoyed me, this week. And we're going to keep talking about that subject. But this past week, the Archdiocese of New York received a new archbishop. Not a cardinal yet. Ronald Hicks. I'm a Catholic here in New York. And Archbishop Hicks is from Illinois. He's from the Joliet. He's from Chicago. Grew up just a stone's throw from where Pope Leo grew up. And he has most recently been the Bishop of Joliet, the Joliet Diocese in Illinois. And he came here a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so, 6 weeks, whatever, when they announced that he would be ascending to the Archbishop of New York, which is kind of basically, no offense to all the other fab archdioceses out there. Los Angeles, I believe, is geographically the largest. Boston's big. Chicago's big. Miami's a pretty big one. Newark is big, right over the river. That's a big archdiocese. Washington, pretty important one. No offense to any of y'all, but New York is numero uno. And I have my thoughts and opinions on Hicks. And by the way, again, full disclosure, for about 6 years, worked for Cardinal Dolan, our outgoing Archbishop. I worked for Timothy Michael Cardinal Dolan. Love him beyond words. I was director of communications for Catholic schools in the Archdiocese of New York for about 6 years. And an honor, a privilege to work for Cardinal Dolan, to get to know him, to spend time with him personally, quietly, professionally, to handle situations, to deal with things. There were people who worked much closer and much more personally with Cardinal Dolan than myself, people who spent days with him and hours on end with him. I spent a lot of time with Cardinal Dolan, more than others, certainly not as much as many in the Archdiocese. And But certainly got to spend a lot more time with Cardinal Dolan than many people. And for that, it was an honor. And goodness gracious, will he be missed? Whew. I pray for our new Archbishop. I hope that he's able to fill the shoes and navigate and lead this flock and shepherd us. And it was interesting that my time working for Cardinal Dolan, it was fascinating to see because, again, this is basically America's parish. And Archbishop Hicks is now basically America's Archbishop. And to any fella coming in, I say, not only am I praying for you, but, in a colloquial sense, good luck. Good luck. Careful what you pray for. Because you have a big responsibility now. And few people filled that role as robustly and joyfully and thoroughly and effectively and efficiently and passionately and well as Cardinal Dolan. And one of the things that was fascinating to see was just how much of a role the Cardinal of New York, the Archbishop of New York, plays in New York City, politically, socially. The comings and goings. It's one of the Mount Rushmore figures in New York City, perennially, always, in perpetuity. It's a rotating every 10 or 20 years. It's a new person, but that role, whoever occupies it, that chair, whoever occupies it will always be on the Mount Rushmore, right there with the mayor of New York City, let's see. Who's on that who's on that crew, right? In New York City, any given moment, the big players will always be the mayor, the archbishop, the police commissioner, right? The lesser extent school superintendent-ish. And then there is the Mr. Katzes of the city, the actual movers and shakers of the city, the media moguls, the influencers, the people like Mr. Katz here, John Katz-Matidis, our owner-operator and leader at 77 WABC. And the mayor, however much any mayor would ever clash with any Archbishop of New York, and as much as any Archbishop of New York would clash politically, socially, whatever, rhetorically with any mayor, there's always an unspoken respect and an aw shucks and a wink and a nod and an elbow and a thing and a boopity boop, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, all of that. But they're always in the same room. There's always the handshake and always the look in the eye and the salute and whatever else. And this week, unless someone knows otherwise, Mayor Mamdani skipped. And if I'm wrong, I just all of my resources, including my own eyes, watching that the installation of Archbishop Hicks. Mamdani was a no-show. And that morning was the New York City prayer breakfast. And on the morning of the installation of Archbishop Hicks, Mamdani, who had clearly no intention of showing up that afternoon for the installation of the new Archbishop, went on and on talking about his own religion.
A religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us.
Does anybody know what the hell? He's talking about immigration vis-a-vis the Prophet Muhammad.
And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world. Or, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Islam began as something strange and will go back to being strange.
This guy is sinking his teeth. Sinking his teeth into his new role. Now, that's fine, I guess. But when later in the day, you basically give the finger to one of the largest, greatest, most glorious institutions in New York City, the Archdiocese, you basically give the finger to the new incoming Archbishop and give the finger to the outgoing Cardinal Archbishop. That's a lot of nerve. 1-800-848-9222. Evelyn's waiting. Pete's waiting. When we come back, we start with them and you. Please join us on the phones. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. It's me, TJ. This is Another Side of Midnight. We'll be right back.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
I used to hang tough with Jim Beam. Now I drink Diet Coke, and every once in a while I enjoy a cream soda. Good morning, everybody. It's me, TJ. It's Another Side of Midnight. Today I had a cream soda, a diet cream soda. Diet black cherry just basically tastes like cough medicine. The Dr. Brown's, it's cough medicine. That's what it tastes. It tastes like Robitussin. Dr. Brown's Diet Cream, rock and roll. 1-800-848-9222. I tell you what, 9222. Kid Rock, one of the coolest things I ever did in my damn career when I was a stand-up, I hosted, and I mentioned this before, I know, but I mentioned, in the past that I hosted, Woodstock 99, the 30th anniversary of the original Woodstock. And, this was the, big concert that, ended in an awful fiery tragedy as bonfires burned and, Red Hot Chili Peppers played and, everything went to absolute hell, up there in, upstate New York on an Air Force base. And a decommissioned Air Force base that they basically opened up into a seething hellhole. But one of the cool things was, I got to see and meet and, have lunch with actually in the big artist tent. I got to see, Kid Rock, which was one of the coolest things. I got to see him. This was back when Baw da da bang da dang diggy dig, that song, Baw da da Baw, I think is what it's called. Was like top of the charts, and he was one of the hottest acts in America at the time. This was like Kid Rock was a kid. This is 30 years ago. And, that was just something the hell else. Got to see him and take him off the stage, and I got to, chill with the Chili Peppers and et cetera, et cetera. It was pretty wild. That was a nutty weekend. That was crazy. But seeing Kid Rock do his thing like 15 feet away, that was something. All right, let's finally get over to Evelyn in Queens. Good morning, Evelyn. Thank you for calling Another Side of Midnight. Thanks for hanging.
Good morning, TJ.
Hello.
First time caller.
Yay! Thank you.
You got a great show tonight.
Thank you.
You have two topics that could have been their own show, and then now you just threw in Mandami,
Yes.
who is so far getting away with all of his stuff. But anyway, I'd like to cover it as fast as I can.
Take your time. Nope. You've been waiting forever. The show, the floor is yours. First time caller, Evelyn. All yours. Go, baby, go.
Okay. Well, I'm a senior woman, but I've been into sports my whole life. I've always watched football is my favorite sport. I've always watched the Super Bowl.
Great.
I watch the Olympics as much as I can, the different events and everything. And this year, it's really, really disappointing. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow because I really don't have any interest in it. The teams aren't interesting to me. I don't care who wins or loses. The commercials that they're putting out that I've seen, they're not funny. They're not anything. Bad Bunny, I don't even want to talk about because I'm not even into that. Forget it. So I think that the whole way that the NFL has been running themselves, they're really getting to the point where I'm just, I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The Olympics, I agree with you, what you were talking about. I want to also point out that these people, these athletes of ours on the USA team who are into these performative politics, where they just want to say what their peers are saying and, get their 5 minutes in. There is a big difference between the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics. When you look at our team and the makeup of the team. And when you talk about what happened in 1968, you're absolutely right. It's a totally different subject. These people had a right to protest. Now, especially on the Winter USA team, these are almost affluent people. It's not the inner city.
Right.
Where you don't have you're not talking track and field, basketball, where there are people in there that really have a history that even could, complain, could say about
and credibility.
Credibility, exactly right. These people have no credibility. They're stupid. They're actually talking against their own history. They're people that never work. They train on the dime of the Olympics. They have nothing to complain about, and they talk about ICE. They talk about gender politics. And to listening to them, I'm disgusted. This is what we're paying for on our team. It's like the dog that bites the hand that feeds it. I don't understand where they're coming from. You just threw in Mandami. So far, he's getting away with his stuff because people are, the press is afraid to say anything that now you're anti-Muslim. But what about anti-Catholic? I am also a Catholic in New York. You're absolutely right. I heard nothing about him doing anything for the cardinal when the new cardinal, when he came. Nobody's saying anything. So you've got three topics here that could be their own show, and it's really excellent that you're talking about.
Evelyn, I gotta say, that was the best first call I have ever heard. Ever. That was, you were like...
Thank you. Put me on your list.
No, you're on the list. You're on the list. Don't you dare be a stranger, Evelyn. Thank you. I mean, and not just because you were full of compliments either, but because, those was just some beautifully conceived, perfectly executed comments. You were fantastic. You were on point, on message, and you did it succinctly and very friendly as well. Evelyn, you're like on my new Mount Rushmore. I'm so grateful for your call. I really am. And I'm not just blowing smoke. That was fantastic. And I really hope you call next week as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Evelyn. There goes Evelyn. Yay, Evelyn. I love Evelyn. All right. There we go. Evelyn. 1-800-848-9222. The pressure's on, gang. Now, it's not just you guys calling in. Me, I got to live up to Evelyn. I got to try to keep up with Evelyn. That was fantastic. And it's true. She nailed it, by the way. Classic example of a caller making the show better. Yes. Here I am calling these kids spoiled brats and talking about, what their parents had to do. I didn't even see, the forest through the trees there as I'm talking about these kids not thanking their parents and all of the money that goes into these sports and these winter sports. She was right. These are affluent kids. These are not, you know what? Stop with your virtue signaling. That's the shorthand for what Evelyn just nailed. These dopey kids coming out with their virtue signaling. These affluent, rich white kids who get to go through life as snowboarders and skiers. That's not Sha'Carri Richardson. That's not Sha'Carri Richardson, who literally has just been up against it. I wish this kid could just catch a break. Poor kid just got busted speeding like she needed that. I love Sha'Carri Richardson. I love her fire. I love her energy. I love her guts. I love her comeback. Got popped by the IOC for smoking the weed. Kid. She's glorious. I love Sha'Carri Richardson. I know she goes against the grain. I know she's a bit of a rebel. I know she's a rough diamond. I know she needs more buffing, and I know she needs more shining and polishing, but she is a raw talent, as opposed to this Hunter Hess with his glorious locks and his perfect skin and his, and his just blazingly white pedigree, sitting there virtue signaling, telling us all that we should be guilty. F Hess. Hashtag F Hess. Tired of him already. All I've seen is 15 minutes of the kid. Go away. Go away. Go snowboard. The nerve. And yeah, and by the way, again, the other thing, Evelyn also. Evelyn, I'm going to keep singing Evelyn's praises. She nailed it. And again, I only went halfway with my commentary. Shame on me, and praise be to Evelyn for helping me see the light and helping me continue my commentary, seeing where I really should have landed that, where I really should have aimed that putt, if you will. Or thrown that javelin. But where the Super Bowl is concerned, here comes Bad Bunny with his Bad Bunny. Here comes Bad Bunny with his big mouth. And he's yapping his big mouth. His grande boca. His boca grande. Big Bonnie and his big malt, his big boca. He is flapping his big mouth and telling people not to watch him if they don't like him or something like that. Or he doesn't care if we watch or some stupid stuff. But he's doing all that in the context of a really unattractive Super Bowl. A really unattractive Super Bowl. People are not clamoring for this matchup. And yes, the reviews for the previews of the commercials, not right. They're not quite there. I tell you what. Here's another side. Here's a little TJ prediction. And again, I'm not exactly, lighting the world on fire with this. I'm sure there's many others who have already said this, but let's see if by the time next weekend rolls around and we're all talking about, or rather as this week unfolds and we're talking about this Super Bowl, Monday morning, we could be talking about the lowest rated Super Bowl in say what, maybe the last 5 years, because lousy Super Bowls can, will at least, pull numbers. Lousy Super Bowls, lousy matchups or blowouts halfway, that kind of thing. The halftime show will usually save them. The halftime show will at least make it a push, right? With all the controversy surrounding, and look, as Bad Bunny, record of the year, Bad Bunny, big time artist. Yeah, he's huge. I mean, look, for all the naysayers, I gotta say, Bad Bunny is huge. Bad Bunny, sold out Yankee Stadium. Like, what did he do? Like a week there? Like, he did insane numbers. He is a fireball of a performer. I dig the dude. There's some of his stuff he's a hell of a performer. It's great when he hosts Saturday Night Live. He's a funny actor. I gotta give the guy his credit. I gotta be intellectually honest. What I've seen of Bad Bunny, I've enjoyed. I don't dig every song, but I don't dig every Elvis song. Sorry, Doc. Sorry, Melissa. I don't dig every Oasis song. Or every Beatles song. I don't dig every Bad Bunny song. But as an all-around performer, the guy's very, very talented. But you know what? He got a big mouth. And he's screwed up. Because he's yapping his stuff and he's turning off fully. And I'm sorry, but the path I was going down. As good as he is and as talented, he's a niche. He's a niche. He is a Spanish language, predominantly Spanish language, Hispanic audience, pop star. Huge audience, and he's a massive crossover. Yes, he's a crossover. Of course. I'm not stupid. He's big, he's huge. His audiences aren't 100% Hispanic, of course. Tons of everybody goes to see this guy. You don't fill a stadium if you're not a crossover artist. Okay? But that being said, he is a niche artist, more than like the Rolling Stones, more than a Britney Spears or whatever, some of these legacy halftime shows. I loved the hip hop anniversary show with Kendrick Lamar and Mary J. Blige, and I loved that halftime show. I liked the Rihanna halftime show. Tomorrow, Super Bowl numbers and revenue could be in massive jeopardy. There's going to be some disappointed sponsors. This could be a real, I tell you what, these Super Bowl executives, these NFL executives, they are clenching their cheeks right now. They are clenching their cheeks. Not clenching, sorry. They are clenching their buttocks right now. Praying and hoping that this thing is not like some kind of insane blowout halfway through the second quarter. Because if this thing is a massive blowout halfway through the second quarter, and that normal tune away starts to happen, you're going to find people with the time, right? And the inclination to go and look for, even if it's out of curiosity, to go and look for that turning point All-American halftime show. This is a very problematic Super Bowl tomorrow, production-wise and broadcast-wise. Very, very, very problematic. It ain't smooth going in. There's a few liabilities floating around. 1-800-848-9222. And Mamdani basically gave the finger to the Cardinal. And he had all morning to talk about niche at the prayer breakfast. Now, I understand he gave a wink and a nod to the new archbishop, but he spent most of his time talking like this that morning.
So glad tidings to the strangers. If faith offers us the moral compass to stand alongside the stranger, government can provide the resources. Let us create a new expectation of City Hall, where power is wielded to love, to embrace, and to protect. We will stand with the stranger today, and I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina. Surah An-Nahl 1642 tells us, as for those who immigrated in the cause of Allah after being persecuted, we will surely bless them with a good home in this world.
And blah, and blah, and blah, and blah. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Staten Island Pete, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. What a show. That last caller, the first caller.
Right,
man.
Evelyn, right?
Oh, right on.
Love
what I wanted to tell you about was I agree with you with the Cardinal. I became close friends with him. He has like when you're in the room with him, I'm sure you experience it. It's like the whole room lights up. You know, he's got charisma, everything, very thoughtful. I had a gold cross. What I do is I got my expensive jewelry. I have copies made of it, and I wear these fakes. So a lot of times I put them out around the city and stuff. So I'm not St. Patrick, so I asked him to bless my cross. So he said, I'll trade you my wooden one for your cross. I said, well, this one ain't real. So he goes, no, this looks too good. I go, no, I keep the good stuff when I go out to any affairs and stuff. Like, for instance, a friend of mine worked on a cruise ship for you guys, and you are wonderful. He told me his name's Kasha. His name is Andrew Kasha Drew. He worked on Carnival, and he says, your wife is so beautiful and such a kind person. He really had fine things to say. But what I wanted to get out, my wife and I, we're married 44 years. So we don't like Valentine's Day going out. We're going to go to an event where we're paying for a buffet on Valentine's Day and one the day before the Friday. But all we do is we celebrate like we celebrated today. I ordered from my friend's diner, which is 2 blocks from here, 2 prime rib dinners. Nice. We sat down and ate them with a candlelight and had a real romantic night, my wife and I.
Nice.
Because I don't like to go out on Valentine's Day to places because it's a rip-off. They all of a sudden, they tell you can only stay a half hour eating and all of that nonsense. And the stuff usually they just throw at you, I go, give me lobster. And they go, oh, we're out of them, So what do you want, hamburger, So,
Valentine's Day is, the roses go up, the roses double in price, $60, $70, $100 for a dozen roses. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. And the cards, it's the one, created holiday that my wife, blessedly, that Andy she basically says, just look, let's do something nice, but please, no gifts, no cards, don't give me the inflated. She'd rather, and I'd rather get my girls something nice for Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
My daughter, that's what I did. My wife and I, we got her a nice corsage and stuff, and box of candy and everything.
Right.
We do it up.
It's what you do.
My wife and I, we went shopping the day later when they reduce everything. We go awkward. And
get some day-old roses for for like 75% off, and get that heart box of the Whitman sampler in the heart, and you're good to go. As always. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, buddy. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. We got, George in Pennsylvania. George, good morning.
It's a great show. Marilyn was a great caller.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Oh, man. And Pete is so great. Your show is great. And you got Mayor Danny here.
George, pick up the phone. Get off the speaker, please.
Oh, I'm off the speaker.
Oh, okay.
And the show is just great. The man Danny, the mayor of New York, why are we acting like a mystery here? Why are you doing this to the audience? You know 85% of the people who voted for him are foreigners. So why are you acting like it's a mystery for? Are you trying to rev it up and get people, especially the elderly people, all mad and everything? Come on now. Are you talking Dolan and Adams invited the invaders from all over the world into New York City. Get on all the welfare rolls. You know that. What are we doing here? Why are we acting like we don't know what's going on inside this country?
Nobody's acting like we don't know.
This guy, Bad Bunny, you're praising him. He stood there. He didn't stand up during God Bless America in the playoff game at Yankee Stadium last year. You're praising this guy? This guy is a big time clown.
I'm not praising him,
why are we
George, I'm not praising him, George. I'm giving credit where it's due. I'm just being intellectually honest. I'm evening out. I'm being thorough in my assessment of the guy. Is that he's a talented guy. What, he's not talented? I can't say the guy's talented. I think the guy's an affront. I never said the guy was a patriotic, and I mean, he is an American. He's Puerto Rican, so he's American. So just so we're all clear, George, I mean, you agree, George, right? This guy's, he's American, right? George, he's American, right? Where'd you go, George?
Yes, he's from Puerto Rico.
Right. So he's American.
Yeah, he's American citizenship. Go to Puerto Rico and they'll say they're Puerto Ricans. They won't say they're American.
That's true. They've been wanting to be the 51st state, but whatever.
No, they don't want to be the 51st. They don't want to be the 51st state because then you got to pay federal taxes.
No, but my understanding is that they want to be the 51st state.
Nah, you're wrong about that.
Oh, really?
Puerto Rican. In Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican nationalists do not want to be the 51st. The Democratic left-wing party wants them to be, so that would be 2 more left-wing senators.
Exactly.
And 6 more congressional left-wingers to dismantle America. Mm-hmm. Listen, but something, I don't understand people who come on the air and scratch their heads and rev up the audience and say, oh, man, Danny, listen to what he said and why he's pushing all this left-wing commie stuff. Listen, it's the 25th years after our firemen were murdered in that trade center, and we put an American-hating communist pig in the mayor's office. Come on now, man!
I know.
You can't tell people it's a mystery. You hear what he's doing in the documentary? Wait a minute.
Nobody's saying it's a mystery, George. George, you got to calm down. You got to chill, George. Got to relax. Just chill. We'll be right back. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ. Here on the Red Apple Audio Networks, 1-800-848-9222. We'll be right back. We'll take a break. We got our break, right?
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Going to talk a little bit too in the next hour about the Super Bowl. Going to talk about the game. We didn't really get into it yesterday, but this morning, because sometimes we talk about that recovery thing on Saturdays. But this morning, going into the Super Bowl, I have a quick conversation about the whole gambling aspect. And there's some interesting stuff that I found, and we'll throw that out there in the next hour about the Super Bowl. And again, I think today's Super Bowl. Today's Super Bowl could be the lowest rated. I bet you. There's real potential there for it to be the lowest rated in recent years. A, because of the matchup. First and foremost, because of the matchup. And B, because of all this hubbub about the, halftime show. There's going to be enough people, I think, turned off. And while granted, the alternative All-American Turning Point USA, blah, 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 Super Bowl halftime show is not exactly beyond Kid Rock, not really star-studded. There's going to be enough curiosity. I mean, when has there ever been anything staged opposite, except for the Puppy Bowl, right? Wasn't that the other thing they do, the Puppy Bowl or something? So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But, you know, I think could be kind of light. The other thing we'll talk about in the next hour too, and similarly, yesterday morning, we talked about the Epstein story, Epstein files. And I kind of just sort of cast a big wide net by basically saying, what do you think? I didn't get specific. I didn't know, what do you think about this? And I didn't get specific. But I'm curious because we haven't really floated this since it started. The Savannah Guthrie thing. What do you think? Again, just a very straightforward talk radio topic. I'm throwing it out there. Writ large, speaking in the grand sense, what are your thoughts about the Savannah Guthrie missing mother saga? This, you noticed about a third of the way through the first day that this broke, in pretty short order, you heard about this brother-in-law. And the brother-in-law is like, this is not a Guthrie. This is Tommaso Cioni. And they were, the media was out there talking about how, you know, he was the last one to see Nancy Guthrie before she disappeared. He was the last, you know what I mean? Like they did it. They just sort of dropped it out there, but it was noticeable. It was quite, tangible, that drop of the name and the relation, the son-in-law. And if you happen to see a picture of this guy in the Post, if you haven't seen him, you'll see why the press, when they got a look at this guy and heard that he was the last, and the fact that somebody said that he was the last one to see her alive, go take a look at Tommaso Cioni. That's a dubious looking son of a gun. No matter what context. If I saw him coming at me, I'd say, what's an interesting looking fella? Wonder who the last person he was. I wonder if he's ever seen it. I wonder if he's ever been the person to last see someone alive. Anyway, I'm not going to have time to give proper due to the people on hold. So we will hit everybody, Bobby, Ryan, E. Frank, Joaquin, and Silas, when we come back at the after the top of the hour news. So I'd ask you all the fellas to hang in there, please, and we will get to you starting with Ryan, and then we will work our way through the crew. Where's Pamela? Oh, there she. 2 days in a row. I hope she's okay. But there's the Irish in me. I have to get fatalistic, don't I? If I don't hear from somebody like I normally do, you're Irish, you automatically think something's wrong. Who was the last person to see Pamela? All right. She have a brother-in-law? Somebody get Pamela's brother-in-law on the phone. I want to talk to him prontissimo. Pamela, if you're out there, I want proof of life. I want to know that Pamela's okay. 1-800-848-9222. Damn it. 1-800-848-9222. Also, we'll also cover this at some point in the last hour. They always find me. those interesting characters who corner you and you don't quite know what they're talking about, they love me. I'll tell you about that when we come back. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ.
It's Another Side of Midnight. 77 WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Now to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning. Hour 3 here. It is 7 minutes past the hour, and there are as many minutes past the hour as there are degrees in the air in New York. It's actually less. There's less degrees in the air than there are minutes so far. It's now 5. It's now just 5. And where I live, where I'm going to be going home to, it's -1. It's -1. It's -1 right now. And that's, there's a breeze factor and there's a wind chill factor. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. This is absolutely when you pray for people you think about these poor souls. 17 people have died in New York. 17 homeless people have died in New York. I mean, and with the classic addendum there, that we know of, that have died from exposure. God rest their souls, these poor people. Oy, oy, oy vey, oy vey. And to think, Mamdani comes in, like knowing this cold snap was coming, he stopped the process of forcing people off the streets. Can you imagine? He refused to allow the takedown of homeless encampments, which is what you're supposed to do in order to get them to come in. This guy, Maron, what do we got to do with this guy? 1-800-848-9222. Good morning, all, and thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the conversation. We've been talking about a few things, talking about ungrateful Olympic athletes who have been slagging off representing the United States. They're asked, what's it like? Well, what does it mean to you to represent the United States and be on Team USA and come out here and go for all this glory? And their answer is, well, it's not exactly, all it's cracked up to be. I'm here to do my thing, but my country is not necessarily living up to my own standards. And, whereas they should just be saying, well, it's an honor. I'm grateful. Thanks, Mom and Dad. All the glory to God. I'm proud of my teammates, and I'm going to do everything I can to bring home the gold. That's it. Shut up and say that. So we're talking about that. We're talking about how, in the same respect, Bad Bunny has pretty much, lit a fuse and become a liability for what is already a Super Bowl that's kind of on the bubble in terms of ratings. It's already a very unattractive matchup of two teams that nobody really cared about seeing matched up. There's no Patrick Mahomes, star power. There's, no big city. I mean, the New England Patriots, but this is not the Brady Belichick Patriots. There's no star power on either side. There's a happy warrior story, I guess, with Seattle and this guy Darnold. Sam Darnold, who is a comeback kid. So there's that all-American kind of comeback kid story there, which is why I'm leaning towards Seattle, I guess. But God forbid this thing's a blowout halfway through the second quarter and people are going to be tuning out and going and looking for that turning point, something or other alternative halftime show. They're going to be doing that just to see. And God forbid they get, you know what? The NFL, I'm telling you, they are clenching. They are clenching. The NFL buttocks are clenching right now. The powers that be and all the corporate sponsors, they are concerned. Because God forbid this thing's a blowout and people are sitting around and they go, you know what? Let's see exactly. Let's go find this thing on Rumble or wherever it's going to be. Let's go find it. And they're going to go and they're going to look for it and they're going to find it. And they may not tune back in time. They may not come back at all if it's a blowout. So we'll see. We'll see when this story is finally written, on Monday morning. We'll see where the numbers are and what kind of game it was and how Bad Bunny does. We're also talking about how Mamdani spent all morning at a prayer breakfast on Friday, talking about Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, and failed to show up for the installation of the new Archbishop in the Archdiocese of New York. That's just unheard of for a New York mayor to skip that. Yeah, the Speaker of the New York City Council was there, a Jewish woman. Speaker of the New York City Council, she showed up, sat front row on the aisle in front of the Mike Lawler, my buddy and my congressman. And Mamdani a no-show. And the other thing, and by the way, this was breaking news a couple of hours ago, just in case you missed it. In the hours leading up to this program, I'd say around 8-9 o'clock Eastern time, the Savannah Guthrie family, Nancy Guthrie's kids, came out with a new video. They're desperate. Now they're saying the words, "We will pay." They're saying we will pay. So they're getting very literal about how they're willing to approach getting their mom back. They're going through it's fascinating to watch all these steps play out. Just, I hate to simplify it and say it so simply, but just like in a movie, just like in the movies. Yesterday it was the asking for proof of life. They were at that stage. They were like, we're willing to play ball. Please let us know she's alive. They must have shown something, because yesterday's message, late Saturday night, was, we're willing to pay. We will pay. So they're being quite literal about it now. Pamela, where the hell did you go? So that's interesting, that they are there now. 1-800-848-9222. And let's go to the one and only Joaquin in PA. Good morning, Joaquin.
Oh, TJ, brother. What's up, man?
Not much, baby. Not much. I'm freezing. I know you're freezing too.
Yes. TJ Maximus. The Emperor of Talk Radio.
Ah,
hey, you know something?
Yes.
I want to actually try doing something, if you don't mind.
Okay.
There is somebody I really would like to try and get on this call.
Okay.
I'm going to dial them up right now, 3125. Okay.
All right. You're going to patch somebody in? Did you?
I don't know why it's not, it didn't go through.
Huh.
Anyway, it's the young lady, Erica Ashley. She actually has an original song that she wrote and recorded on her own.
Oh, really?
I started thinking that maybe you might play it as bumper music.
Well, I think the best way to do that is send it to me as a file or something like that, or get me a link to like an audio file and send it to me via like a DM on X. Because I know you and I are
on X.
Yeah. Like send it as a private message. If you can get like a link, you know what I mean? Like you can get an audio file to be a link. You can do that and send it to me on X, and I can get it to the fellas.
Okay, because I know that she's not on X.
But if you can get it from her, get it from her and send it to me as like, you can do it like she'll know if she records music, she'll know how to send you a link to the song.
Okay. Yeah. No, if you do a search on it, you can find her, and the song is up actually on YouTube. So if you want to listen to it, check it out. But her name is Erica Ashley, and Ashley is spelled with a double E.
All right.
It's an amazing song. This song should become a hit. It's incredible.
All right.
But anyway.
Yes.
So, getting back to these Olympic athletes, our pathetic athletes.
Spoiled brats.
What do you think would happen if anyone from North Korea, Russia, Iran, China, I don't know, any other number of countries,
Cuba,
their athletes did this? What do you think would happen when they got home?
Hey, you know why I forget when they got home. The reason that they wouldn't be doing this is because they know that they know where their families are back home. That's always the sword of Damocles. Is that was always the way that they kept people from defecting, right? Was they always knew they had their family there.
Now, in that long tirade of lists that I had last night, or yesterday morning, I didn't know if I included in there. There was a food processing plant in Omaha, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. They were raided by ICE.
Oh, right. 10. Yep. I saw that. I saw the there was like a news story surrounding it. I saw the coverage of it.
Okay, but I don't know what you actually saw in it, because now if you have to look, and you go to a couple other places, they tell the whole story. Mm-hmm. So half of the employees were rounded up, 76 of them.
Right.
And I believe most of them were deported, but they were at least detained because they were illegal immigrants. Do you know what happened the very next day? Their waiting rooms were full of American citizens or legal people here legally going in, filling out applications for those positions.
Wait a minute. Aren't those jobs that we're told Americans don't want?
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. They keep telling us this lie. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the jobs at the meat processing plants, many years ago, I have a good friend who lives out there in Minnesota. Well, we were college, we rented a house off campus together. Okay. Uh-huh. And he was from Minnesota, and in the summertime, he worked at one of the meat processing plants. And he made so much money back then because it paid so well that over summer vacation, he saved enough money to buy himself a brand new Olds Cutlass.
Nice.
Okay. In the summertime. And so, you look at what's happening, a lot of these corporations, and in the one article that I came across, it was interesting because it did say that, Obama flew, Biden, they flew all these migrants all over the country in the middle of the night, right? To red America.
Yeah, they came to Westchester County. They came to Westchester County Airport, as a matter of fact.
Well, Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, and what they said was actually what was happening is a lot of these conservatives, business people that run these companies, they were paid kickbacks to hire these people and also to put them up to give them places to live.
Wow.
So unfortunately, even in our, on our side, the conservatives, we got a lot of traitors, that are not working for the best interests of this country.
Yeah.
And I keep wanting to go back to your podcast, the No Bulls thing.
Uh-huh.
This is one of the biggest lies that we've been sold in this country, and this goes back. I used to yell. I mean, I drove trucks since 1981, okay? And I've seen everything. And I watched from the seat of my truck, from behind the windshield, the total demise of this country when they started trying to sell us this crap, of outsourcing, and free trade, and capitalism requires, unregulated markets. Well, what happens when you send all your stuff out of the country, to people who are making $1 an hour, if they're making even that? And what's going to happen here? Yeah. And so we cannot compete, with slave labor around the country. So that's why Trump is right on the money with all of this, with the tariffs and, instead of bringing the rest of the world up to our standards, they brought us down to the rest of the world's standards.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. You're right. You nailed it. As always, Joaquin. I got to jump it. I got to take this 20 minutes after. But Erica Ashley, Ashlee. All right. We'll take a look. We'll go find that tune. Thank you, Joaquin, as always, buddy. All right. We're going to take our quick break. When we come back, we're going to open up with a first time caller. We're going to talk to Viviana in Brooklyn when we come back here on and there's Pamela here on Another Side of Midnight. She's alive. Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack on the Red Apple Audio Networks.
All night long, this is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, gang. 424 here in New York City, where it's 5 flipping degrees outside. For the love of goodness gracious, it is so cold. And there's people out there on the sidewalk. I'm amazed when I'm out there in this kind of blistering cold on a morning like this. Like, I walk all tense. Like I'm you get your shoulders pinched and everything just sort of comes together. I'm like a ball of socks. Like when you put your socks away and you kind of like put that. I'm kind of like that. I'm just kind of like a tightly wadded ball of socks. That's what I am when I'm walking. Hands in the pockets and shoulders up and yet I see some people walking like strolling, like just taking normal strides. I just now, right? I'm out there. I'm looking out the window. I see people just out there, just walking normal. It's like 5 degrees. I'm amazed. 1-800-848-9222. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Talking about a bunch of stuff. And, we have online too. We welcome for the first time ever. I love this name. It's one of my favorite names. Viviana. Viviana, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, TJ. This is the first time I get to hear you and spend some time with you. And I really appreciate how you draw out truth from the people. And one of the things I realized is that because of everything that's happening and all of this propaganda against Trump, the press has failed to really highlight that Mamdani had a group of his true believers heckle him from outside Gracie Mansion and saying, "We voted for you and you lied to us." And they also said, "Look, your mom involved with Epstein."
Right.
You know, so it's like they're finally getting the clue, but they don't get the clue.
Yeah.
Because the DSA is like they're playing a chess game with the whole nation.
Yeah.
They're marrying Islam with their political action.
Yes.
And at this point, if they don't, if the truth isn't put out in talk radio, people are going to continue to be deceived and fooled about him.
Yep.
You think about how he came in, he was propped up by Bernie Sanders and AOC.
And AOC, right.
And he had no experience. He was just a pretty boy that knew how to smile, but he had really nefarious intentions when it comes to New York.
Yep.
And I'm not very, it's like people wake up. I'm trying to see even the religious leaders.
Yeah.
We want to give him a chance. I'm a chaplain.
Right.
And I'm going, but don't you see? Yeah. Yeah. And I said to some of my fellow leaders, I said, don't you see that what he wants is totally opposite of the Constitution?
Right.
And they said, but we believe in liberation theology, and he sounds so nice. And I said, hey, the scorpion was really nice as it rode on the back of the frog.
Right.
And then
in
when
the fable.
The frog, yes, and then the frog got the scorpion to the other side of the pond, and then the scorpion stings him. And he goes, oh, but why did you do that to me? And the scorpion tells him, hey, you knew who I was before you gave me the ride across the pond.
Right. I'm a scorpion. So, it's what I do. It's what I do.
That's right.
You know what, Viviana? First of all, in this program, there have been two first-time callers, you and Evelyn, both from Brooklyn. And both you and Evelyn have really brought just brilliant, phenomenal commentary.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, like, you are amazing and just so thorough. And your perspective as a chaplain, is really brilliant. And you are, your accent, you sound like a Latina.
Yes,
okay. And so your perspective on life is I think is very interesting and perfect and spot on. And so really I'm grateful for your contribution to the show, not just your call, but your contribution on the call. And so let me just say this. You said something interesting too. It's like, people feel like, like he bamboozled these people. He courted their votes and he's kind of, and there are people already saying, boy, you're there's a bait and switch here. Viviana, when I find myself like really falling for or becoming enamored with a politician, a leader, somebody asking for my vote. When I find myself being charmed and really wowed by a candidate or an elected official, sometimes my instinct is to go, hold on, wait a minute. There's got to be more to this story. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I have that. That'll be a reflex. I'll go, wait, the last time that I was really wowed by somebody, they ended up being blah, 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 XYZ. Something went wrong along the way. And, and so I wish that when these people find themselves being so just falling in love with a guy like Mamdani, take a look and read the fine print. Take a look at what some of the impact and what some of the fallout could be. And sure enough, man, it's already starting. And by the way, too, I wondered, so you're talking about that. There was wasn't there a photo of Mamdani's mom?
Yeah.
And
holding him as a baby first.
Right.
And then later on as a older young man
with Epstein.
Lane. Yeah. And Epstein.
Can I ask you this, Viviana? Here's the thing too.
Yeah.
And I meant to mention this earlier in the program. I was looking at all this stuff about Epstein. How many of all these files, for the last week now, we've been getting photo drop after photo drop after photo drop. How many photos did this creepy guy allow to be taken? The fact that there are so many pictures of Prince Andrew and girls. You know what, man? I've been at parties and events and gatherings with people and things and doing and stuff. And it's like, you know what? I don't necessarily always love to have my picture taken. You know what I mean? And I'm not in circles like that. I'm not hanging out with pedophiles.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? But I'm not a big fan of having my picture taken. I'm talking even at a birthday party. I don't like when somebody says, hey, we're going to do a picture. Okay. I'm like, okay. I don't want my picture taken. I don't like having my picture. I'll go on TV, but I don't like having my picture. I'm weird like that. But you know what? For a pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein loved to have his picture taken with girls and these other people in his surround. Viviana, what the hell are these pedophiles thinking, having their pictures taken left and right?
Well, I believe one of the things that happens in that type of atmosphere is they're so enamored they say, oh, I have to have a picture with him.
Yep.
The thing is that also shows people, or rather Epstein had the goods on a lot of people. That's why they couldn't afford to leave him alive.
It's part of that honey trap. It's part of that KGB.
Yeah, the honey trap. Mm-hmm.
Right? It's how they blackmail people. And they also, Viviana, I'm sorry, no, I want you to tell me that, but before I forget, they also feel impervious. They also feel like they're all above the law, like they're untouchable. All of these super duper people that are participating in this nasty, nefarious stuff, they feel like they're Teflon. But go ahead. What were you going to say? The other thing that you wanted to mention.
Well, thank you. What's really getting to me is how much did he really, really have a grasp on secret things that happened, because at this point, there should be indictments of these people.
Yeah.
Whether it's Clinton, whether it's, the big guy that has a lot of money. My mind is just going here.
Musk? Oh, wait.
No, not Musk.
No,
the other one. His wife left him because
Gates, Bill Gates.
Gates.
Yeah, Mr. Microsoft.
So you think about that, and we have to get to the point where during this administration, there has to be prosecutions. And the left is going to say, well, this is just political targeting.
Right.
And that's a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yep.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I know you want to use another word.
Comment about the religious, religious breakfast. But if I could finish this point.
Sure.
The thing is that it's like they're projecting on other people or making saying, okay, I haven't done anything.
Yep.
But, look at Trump. He's done this. But the one thing that they didn't bank on is that what they wanted to do to Trump, they can't do to him because he wasn't a pedophile.
Right.
So now they're upset.
Yep.
And they say, well, we got to do this, we got to do that.
Yep.
So but President Trump, I pray he will get the goods on these people and he will not hold back because they hurt these children. They did so many despicable things. I don't know if it went to the point of sometimes they go into these ritualistic things and they actually kill the
God forbid,
young people.
God forbid.
I'm not even going there.
Right?
I don't know.
I know.
If that's
God forbid.
The truth.
Viviana, you are awesome. Thank you. So what a first call. My God.
Can I make the point about the prayer breakfast?
Yes, quickly, please.
As a person of faith,
yes,
I think that he wants everybody to think that he's an inclusive person.
Right.
His goal was to conquer New York.
Right.
Religiously.
For Islam.
So, yes, for Islam. Yep. So, when he went to the prayer breakfast and he had the audacity to start moralizing about Islam, and it's not true, then he doesn't show up to the new cardinal's installation.
Right.
Do you remember when he said to Cuomo, "How many times have you been in a mosque?"
Right. Yeah.
So he's another
hypocrite.
Another example of I'm going to moralize to you, but I'm not going to respect you.
Ugh, this guy.
And that's really, really, to me as a person of faith.
Yep.
Wake up, religious leaders. Wake up.
Yep.
He is
and
just
I tell you what,
getting you close enough to sting you.
And I tell you what, I'll be curious. I'm a faithful Catholic. And the first test for this new Guy Hicks, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to our new Archbishop, but first Mamdani is going to be challenging this Guy Hicks. He's going to be challenging him.
Of course.
I got to jump, Viviana. This was a great first
you
call.
So much.
Thank you. And I hope to talk to you many more times. Thank you so much, Viviana. God bless. Stay warm.
TJ.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. 1-800-848-9222. And we got Pamela in New Jersey. Pamela. Good morning, Pamela. How are you?
Proof of life. Thank you for caring.
Yes, of course.
I've got my Irish up a little bit. I'm usually positive, but although I did try to save the bees with Dr. Sky, then I fell asleep. I'm usually an early riser.
Yes.
And with this weather, it's got me, nervous.
Little upside down, yeah.
And I've got my Irish up a bit as far as thinking, is this end times? I mean, I went out early this morning, to feed the cats, the poor cats, if they're still alive out there.
Right.
And the birds early in the morning. And it was like apocalyptic out. It was purple sky.
Yeah.
The squall was coming in already, and they said it was going to come in a little later yesterday.
Right.
They said it was going to come in 5, but it came in early.
Yep, it did.
And there was snow. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. Now, I've been around a few years. I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
I have never seen anything like this. I mean, the 90s were bad.
Yeah.
The storm, my car froze up, and I had to crawl in through the hatchback to get to the front seat to go to work.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, and there was embankments 2015. I mean, I've lived through storms, but nothing like this. And did you ever see the movie with Gregory Peck and Lee Remick, Omen 1 and Omen 2?
Oh, sure. I saw Omen 1. I don't think I saw 2, but I saw the Omen, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's worth watching. And I'm thinking of the people in power and New York mayor and the filth that's coming out of the athlete's mouth, and no pun intended,
yep.
with their comments about our country. And and I'm thinking, I get a picture of that little boy, the Antichrist, at the end of the movie.
Damien,
he's holding on to his new stepfather because the parents were killed by the devil.
Right.
And he's holding on to him, and he's going to be the next president.
Right.
The father, the stepfather, which means at the very end, the little boy turns around and looks into the camera, and he's going to be the next president. And the scene where the poor priest was trying to tell everyone, and then the lightning rod, the metal rod comes down, and I'm thinking, oh my God, is this end times? I have a woman on my block who's a real serious Catholic.
Right.
And, when I was shoveling snow the other day, I said to her, is this end times? And, I really wanted an answer from her because usually she's always like kind of force preaching to me.
Yeah.
And, I wanted an answer. And she didn't have an answer for that one. And I kind of said, Matthew, and she was like shocked because I'm not, I live religion. I don't go every week. And some people who go every weekend think that, you're not, good enough.
Right.
And, but I'm really thinking like, and it's not just the weather, it's we've got nurses who are teaching how to do bad things to ICE agents.
Yeah.
We've got,
we have an entire political party that is determined to legalize, and not just to legalize, but to propagandize and evangelize for the mutilation of adolescents and pre-adolescents. We have an entire political party that used to be all about the little guy and labor unions and all that. Now they're all about permanently installing grown men into women's safe spaces and mutilating young boys and girls and telling them that their fantasy that they happen to be the opposite sex is true. We have got a truly sick society right now. And we've got one side that believes the ends justify everything. Our Democratic Party right now, Pamela, is rooting for more dead people. They're rooting for more dead people. People died in the streets of Minneapolis, and it's good for them. Go ahead.
I lived through the 60s and the 70s. I was a little girl in the 60s, and my great aunt, a lot of my mother grew up in Paterson. A lot of my relatives were from Paterson, New Jersey, and that was one of the towns devastated by the rioting and everything. And I remember going in there, and we tried to convince my aunt to live with us, but she just wouldn't leave. Which reminds me of Nancy Guthrie. Everybody saying, what was an 84-year-old living alone? A lot of 84 and 90-year-olds want to stay in their home and by themselves. And so I remember getting bottles thrown at me. Jeez. And then when we took care of my grandparents' house and moved into the town nearby, I remember gangs going down the street. And then I remember my brother was drafted, and I remember Vietnam, but I was on the younger edge of the baby boomers. And I said to myself, oh, things are starting to settle down. Watergate came up, of course.
Sure.
But I figured, all right, things are getting better. Late 70s, maybe, except for the hostage situation in Iran. Right. And then the 80s were getting better, all happy music and everything.
And then here comes 9/11.
I don't think it could be any, I think it's getting better. But you know what? This is worse.
Yeah.
In the 60s and 70s. Because
it is.
At least there were people, protesting against a war, which was a crazy ass war.
Yeah.
It made,
but and even then though, when the discussions ensued about that war, when that was still that generation of civility. At least you didn't have, and this bugs me about both parties, and and people, both sides, but literally both sides, with this cursing and this, and look, I was a stand-up comic, and I curse like a sailor in my regular life. I curse and curse. I'm bad and I'm naughty like that. But you know what? I'm not a congressman. I'm not a state senator. I'm not stop with the cursing. Right. Stop with the shock jock stuff. There's all this shock jocks. They're all Howard Stern. Now all these politicians are, and even the new ones who are running. There's this really attractive woman down in, I think, North Carolina or South Carolina. And she's running. She's this really pretty pediatrician, and she's blonde and blue eyed, and she's real chirpy, and she's real pretty. And on her official challenge, she's challenging somebody to be a congresswoman, and she uses the whole word of BS. She uses bull blank, in her materials, and I'm like, well, why do you do that? Why do you go into the muck? And so that's what makes this all particularly, just loathsome. Pamela, I got to jump because I got to make sure we take care of everybody, and I'm glad to know you're alive. All right. So thank you, love.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next weekend. Bye, Pamela. 1-800-848-9222. Let's get to Bobby in the Bronx. Bobby, good morning.
Oh, TJ, great show, man.
All right. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened there, Bobby. What happened with that? 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Just real quick, I mentioned, a few minutes ago before we get to the rest of the callers. I mentioned a couple of moments ago about the addictive danger of sports betting. If anybody's, paying attention, online sports gambling booming. Here's a couple of interesting things. It says this is a report in this is by Will Austin in the Boston Globe. Will Austin in the Boston Globe. And he mentions that 1 in 3 American adults have wagered on sports. Like formally, I guess that's formally, informally. I don't think I have. I guess going to the track and betting on a horse race, I guess that's wagering on sports. Okay, so 1 in 3 American adults say they have wagered on sports. They said that in 2026, wagers are expected to surpass $8 billion in the state of Massachusetts. $8 billion would have been wagered in Massachusetts. That is greater than any line item in the state budget. How about that? There's the amount of wagering in Massachusetts will be $8 billion. That's more than the state of Massachusetts will spend on anything this year. That is very telling. Young men and kids are the target of the gaming industry. The legal betting age is 21. More than 2/3 of undergraduates, college undergrads, most of them men, are betting on sports. This is the next drug. This is the next scourge. This is the next killer addiction. 1 in 10 Massachusetts residents is a problem or at-risk gambler. That's a number. It's one thing to say 1 in 3 people have wagered on sports. Okay. That's one thing. This is the number. 10% of Massachusetts residents, 10%, 1 in 10 is a problem or at-risk gambler. That is massive. The last big addiction scourge has been the opioid epidemic, right? Now, with a gambling epidemic is going to come self-harm. That's going to be the result. You're going to see people taking drastic measures. It's going to get very scary. This online and these betting commercials, because now it's legal to advertise, right? Caesars, watch tomorrow, watch BetKings and FanDuel and Caesars and all that other stuff. You watch. This is the next opioid epidemic. It's only just begun. It's only just taken root. The good old days of having to go to Atlantic City or Vegas, where you had to go somewhere to do it, and it was contained, and it was a trek and a journey and a commitment, and you had to spend money to go bet money. Now, you put your feet up, you tap on the app, and rock and roll. Very, very, very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. I'm an addict. 20 years sober. Thank God I never got into gambling. And I'm not good with money. to begin with. I'm very, very, very poor at understanding finances and stuff like that. I'm not good at it. So that's a scary number. 1 in 10. And again, that's a Boston Globe. So they're looking at Massachusetts, but you can extrapolate that anywhere in the country. 1 in 10 residents of Massachusetts. 1 in 10 is a problem gambler. Holy cow. Oh my God. How many people are going to bet their ranch tomorrow on the Super Bowl? How many people? How sad is this? I'm thinking, you know what? You think about a drug addict, you think about an alcoholic, sweating it out, driving drunk. Think about that gambling addict. Tomorrow is Christmas as far as they're concerned. How many gambling addicts are looking to the Super Bowl to get even? How many of them are going to be not enjoying the Super Bowl, but watching with white knuckles, hoping to dear sweet Jesus that their number comes through and that their bet covers or comes through or pays off so that they can get that monkey off their back and they can finally get even. This is the big one. This will do it. Oh my God, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And it's enabled by politicians. All right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we got Mikey, Frank, and Silas. 1-800-848-9222. It's another side of midnight with me, TJ. We will be right back.
All night long, this is another side of midnight with TJ McCormack, 77 WABC. It's another side of midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC. Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, gang. Good morning. Good morning. We are rocking right up to the final moment here. And, let's get to Mike in South Carolina. Let me get over the line too. Hey there, Mike. Good morning, buddy.
All right, TJ. Top of the morning.
And to you.
Just got on your show. Tried calling, was busy, but I got through. We were talking about it yesterday. You just touched on it again. You know, gamblers, it's going to be out of control, and it's still, going to go beyond what people expected.
Yep.
I even told one friend of mine years ago, man, he just couldn't stop.
Yep.
Mike, I can't stop. Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can. You try to get even, you get even worse.
Yep.
That's the credo. You try to get even, you get even worse.
Yes.
So just, it's something that has to be done, and you have to, press the button to start it up and
right.
Get the wheels going,
Mm-hmm.
All right, TJ, always good.
Yes.
And, like happened yesterday, I woke up at 3:30. I turned the show on, and who gets on? Pete from Staten Island, like again today. That's a rim shot. That's a rim shot.
There you go. All right, buddy. Thank you, Mike. We'll talk to you again, Pally. Stay cool, stay warm, and stay beautiful. To roll us through, let's pop over to 5. And I'm sorry, we only got a couple of seconds here. Silas, good morning, pal.
Yeah, talk about this governor, mayor, whatever it is, in California. That guy sold out to the big tech. They wanted that property to burn, but he tipped his hat because he said, we could use that property for public housing.
Yeah,
he's getting paid under the table.
Right. Yep. Silas, you there, buddy? All right. Sorry, Pally. And E. Frank, thank you, buddy. We'll have to talk to you next week. And I'm so sorry there, my friend. But I wish you a warm try to be warm? I don't know. It's impossible. Wow, great show. Thank you especially to Evelyn and Viviana for their great first phone calls to the program. This was a really great weekend. I thank you guys, each and every one of you. When you called in, you got on, you made the show better. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And until the next time we speak, as always, I wish you all the luck in the world. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormack. Thank you, gang.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.